You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the meeting to order. And roll call.
Paul St. Norman,
Maureen Buffy.
Aaron Brewster.
Ian Sumpico.
And Norma Smith are present. We have one guest, Sandy Lukowitz. On the agenda. So, has everybody's read the minutes? Are there any?
I did have some comments. I know it says we tabled the pink granite and we did, but we did spend a lot of time talking about potential use of the grant to offset the costs.
Mhm.
And Paul mentioned that we may be able to get the excavation donated, so I thought it was important that those two get added to the minutes.
If it's tabled, does that matter? John? Because we're gonna talk about it again tonight.
Right, if it was tabled, then there shouldn't have been any discussion on it. But if there was discussion,
There was some after, yeah.
yeah,
So should that be in the minutes? Like, that's the question.
yeah, if you guys feel that it should be in the minutes, if you guys have questions about whether or not this is accurate, then you can certainly approve them with changes. That's how you guys want to.
So does somebody want to make that motion?
Okay, I make the motion to add to line 3B on the pink granite update. That we briefly talked about using state grants to offset the cost of the project and the potential for excavation being donated by a local contractor.
can I correct that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. What I had mentioned was the fact that maybe some of the things could be donated, and I used as an example, an excavator who donated his services for the Patuxent Valley addition that's being built. And they dug the hole and donated the machine time and whatever, so it didn't cost them anything. So I don't want to confuse that with saying that an excavator would do this, because it's not that type of project.
Okay,
Because it would be a mason who had a machine that would do this to set the stone. So it's just, you know, the way I talked about it, I was using the excavator as an example that, you know, might be able to get some time donated from someone to help out with this, which is a good idea. So, you know, I just don't want it to come out that, okay, it's an excavator that we're looking for to do this, because that isn't really the case, which
Okay.
I'll explain further when we talk about the pink granite tonight.
okay,
Okay,
So that would need to be reworded. The motion?
yeah, I guess so.
Yes,
All right, so let me try again. You
my
want to try?
suggestion, just to, you know, that part of it is to word it, that we talked about trying to get some of the labor or machine time donated to offset costs.
Okay,
That's what I was trying to. Sometimes I get a little, you know, carried away with talking about things and it doesn't come out correctly. So I don't know.
Okay, so the
But-
motion is, we talked about, you want,
to add that we discussed using state grants to offset the cost and the possibility of getting some of the work donated by local contractors.
Right.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay, okay, so the minutes have been,
So now we can have a motion to
Right.
accept minutes
Yes.
with,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the
change.
change.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay. this agenda. Okay. Old business, paint granite, here we are again.
Yep.
We have to say about paint
Okay.
granite.
First, to clarify for me, when and what do you need from me in order to submit? the
Well,
grant?
there's-
I mean, do you need written up estimate?
Yes,
Yes. And you need this by the end of the month, correct?
October 1st.
Right, okay. And I'll do a actual architectural drawing of that area of it. I've got information and I've got pictures, and this is very simplistic, but I did this, I took pictures of the site, but I need to get the town map from here in planning that depicts that part of Anthony with it, because it'll have all the info, and I can blow that up and then I can draw this in. This is very simplistic, but what my idea is to take the granite, because this is sloped up here in the shady part where the trees are up that end of the public area there. And it's just enough of a slope to take and use the granite, using a machine, you cut into the slope. So, because that slope's going from nothing up to about 2 feet. Cut that in and set the granite pieces in with little pieces of stone in between, and that joins it all together, and hidden mortar, you use the mortar in underneath. And they'll take, a small mini backhoe, it's called, and set the stuff so that it's on a V. What the whole idea is to have it represent a foundation. And there's enough pieces with what we have that to say exactly how it's going to be, you don't know. You work with the mason there. I would donate my time to supervise it. And, as far as that goes, and set it up in an artful way, for lack of a better term. Okay, so you're cutting into the slope. So now the stone is buried pretty much on one side, and then we would do it in a way that uses the pieces the best way we could. Part of the thing is getting, and again, I will do drawings of this that depict pretty much the size of what it would be and everything based on what we have for stone. And like on a view, like if you're standing looking at just straight, like you would do of a house, if you'd had an elevation of a house, and do something with that. But then I've already talked with my mason. Again, I know what his rates are per day with his guys and everything. And with doing this, it should not cost any more at maximum than $10,000. Okay, to do it, we have to do it because we're not purchasing the granite. That's the big savings here. I mean, if you had to buy the granite for this and deal with that could be another $10,000 with pieces like that. So
I have a
anyway,
question. Did we get permission from Raina for that area?
No, because we're not going to talk to Rena. We're going to talk to the town manager.
Well, have you talked to him about it?
No, we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that next.
Yep.
All right.
so what I will do is, I guess the question is, can I write up an estimate for it?
You can, but here's the problem.
Or should I have my mason write it up on his
It's not
stuff?
just a matter of,
It needs to go out the bid, right?
Yes, I would say it has to go out to bid.
the problem is,
That's always the problem.
things are different now.
Yep.
And let me explain why. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time, because the way it's supposed to be done now is it has to go to the town manager and then before council to have permission.
Ah.
We don't have time to do that
Hmm.
by October 1st.
Can we submit for the grant and pursue the town council permission at the same time? And then if they say no, go back and say, we changed our mind and cancel, because they're not deciding who gets the grants until December.
I'm sorry.
Right, so
Aaron,
can
I
we
didn't
work them
hear-
in parallel?
I can't hear you.
Sorry, so the grant the application for the grant is due October 1st,
Mhm.
but they're not deciding who gets the grants until December. So I'm wondering if we can submit the paperwork and pursue a parallel path
Mhm.
with the town council at the same time. And if the town council says, no, thank you, then we just call up the grant commission, the Historic Preservation Committee and Commission
There's
of Rhode
also-
Island and say, we are canceling our application.
There's something else you need to consider with this grant. It's not a total grant.
Right.
It's a shared grant, so the town would have to foot the bill for part of it.
Mhm.
We have $3,000. The commission
Mhm.
does at this point in time, so that's not even half. So would the town even be willing to? What do you think, John? Should we apply and then rescind?
Um,
Well,
I don't have an answer. I don't know off the top of my head.
because we've only got like a week to do this.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know it has to
Kevin
do the
McGee
other.
said that
go
he would
before
move
that.
the granite.
Huh?
Kevin said he would move the granite for us.
Yeah, that's not the issue.
Right.
Yeah, but that's.
Yeah. Oh, that's
one
big. That's
issue.
big.
Yeah,
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 but that's not the issue
yeah.
right now. It's just that I don't want to have them be told afterwards, we should have had permission to apply for the grant. Things are getting very,
We'll see if you can get it on the next agenda.
it's not in
It's
time.
too late for Monday, but
Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, Mike, can you ask them this week if we can pursue that path? The town manager,
Ask the town
in other
manager.
words, to, get an
'Cause we're gonna
okay
get into that.
on putting the grant in, the grant request in,
Mm.
based on ultimately the approval of the
Yeah.
town council and him, and that we realize that if they deny it, then we would have to,
But for one thing, we need to know
rescind it.
cost as, because the town would have to pay half. I think it's half.
yeah,
I think it's a 50-50 match. Now, we have 3,000.
Right, so-
We could use our budget towards that, couldn't we?
Correct.
So we
Yeah.
would use our
Yeah.
3,000 toward that.
yep,
If, say, it's $10,000, the town would have to come up with another 2,000. Or donations.
mhm. Okay.
All right, let's move
So,
ahead, do the
right.
plan, we'll
Yeah.
we'll do the legwork and we'll try to
and-
talk to him.
And just see
When's the
if
first?
they are okay with pursuing it that way.
So do
I
we,
mean,
do we have to make a motion to say
it's-
that we're moving forward with submitting the grant
I just want to-
in parallel with requesting permission?
When's the first?
Let's do that.
Sure. All right, so today's the 23rd, so the first is 1 week from tomorrow.
Okay. All right, okay. So we'll make them, somebody
We'll-
make a motion to
okay.
move forward to prepare for the grant.
It's your turn.
All right, Joe. Okay. I make a motion to move forward with pursuing the grant for the pink granite installation in Anthony Green. And doing that with the knowledge that the town council and the town manager has to approve of that.
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
I,
Okay.
So, can we talk logistics of that? Is there anything you need or you need help with for either for preparing? Because a week's not a lot of time.
Well,
Don't do that.
you know, this isn't gonna take long to draw up.
Okay.
I need to go down and physically take some dimensions for where the walks are and stuff, but other than that, it's not bad. And, okay,
So how much
Okay.
time would you need to talk to the manager? Before we would approach the manager?
right, well, sometime middle of next week, but I
Okay.
mean, you're gonna ask him first,
Yeah.
right, and see if this is okay
Now,
to
the
do.
last time we did
Yeah.
a state grant, Paul Sprague wrote it. Are
Yeah.
you writing this grant or do I do it?
I'm not sure. We can figure that out moving forward.
Because last time we did a grant for the Reed School, Paul Sprague
Mhm.
wrote it. I mean, we never.
So, I'll take reviewing the application and figure out what the
Okay.
requirements are
Okay.
that need to be filled out. I'll email the
Okay.
contact on the page and say, here's what we're proposing.
Yep.
And because they said they'll offer guidance on how to fill out the application. And
Okay.
so I'll fill out the application, not write the grant. Obviously, that's a whole lot more
Yeah.
to it, but just filling out the application probably
Yeah.
shouldn't be too hard as long as you do,
I've-
you got your stuff and we'll stick it in the
Right,
end.
I know nothing about writing grants, so I can't help you there. I need to learn, but
Like I
I,
said, Paul wrote the last one, so I didn't really even know what's involved with this particular,
It's very detailed.
yeah,
well, anything
Yeah.
government. usually
Well,
is.
yeah, I guess don't know. I haven't even looked at the application. I mean, I've
Okay,
looked at the process, but didn't open the application process and see
Okay.
what's required to be filled in. But
And I do have pictures of all the pink granite that's over there and stuff like that to submit with it. That shows the big slabs and everything, so.
okay, well, the second thing was grant, which is what I was gonna talk about, was this state grant with the pink granite, so we just kind of already,
Well, kind
talked
of
about it.
intertwines with it, but.
yeah, so.
So who would do the grant?
Huh?
Who would do the grant?
I want
To-
John
to
to
ru-
do it.
Right, so I think it's two separate things. One is the application,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
due by
Aware
the
of this, yep.
first.
I don't know if you would
Yeah.
have the time.
I was gonna say, because you must have Paul Sprague's application
Hmm.
on file.
It could be,
Yeah,
I would have to take a look and see what.
be word for word
Well,
would help out.
except the project is different. Yeah. Well, anyway, all right, so we're gonna move ahead with this part of it.
Okay.
Okay, Reed School. Remember the last meeting, I was gonna do a thing on Rock Great Bridge, well, that's off, that's being postponed, because on September 15th, I had a meeting with Ben Marshall, and you have the paperwork here. Ben Marchant and Ann Dixon on the stewardship of the Reed School being, we would be the stewards of the Reed School. The past years, it's pretty much been the Coventry Historical Society that's been taking care of the school. It was leased to them in the 1970s. And they've done over the years a lot of work. Well, the last 10 years, the society hasn't done a lot because of the aging of the membership. So a few years back, there was a grant to repair and preservation work on the school. And that's this grant we were talking about with Paul Sprague. The commission got the grant to do, they replaced rotted wood and paint and all that kind of thing, scrape the paint down, and it's been repainted. Well, in some of the research that Ann Dixon did, the lease ran out on the school and the Summit Library in 1998. So in the meantime, the society's still been doing whatever with the school. They've had plant sales and whatever. Well, now it seems that they think the school should become, that we should be the stewards of the school because it's a town property. And it leaves the society, I have no idea where. This is what Ann had given to me, the role of the commission. Inventory, digital, all the artifacts of the Reed School that are related to the school or other one-room schools in Coventry. Determine artifacts that are school-related belonging to the Coventry Historical Society and determine if the society wants the artifacts back in its possession or housed at the schoolhouse. If the artifact is not school-related, then determine ownership of the artifact and return it to its owner. Develop a plan for preservation of the Reed School as a Coventry historic asset. Include in the plan the areas that are in need of repair and or improvement. Conduct at least one open house per year at the Reed School and provide an interactive experience for visitors. The commission may use the Reed School for its research and work projects. Public meetings, however, must be held in a public place. That last portion is in answer to our requests for space for our projects, and we've talked about many of them. We have some, what do you call them, ledgers, maps, all kinds of paper items that don't require a lot of space, and she asked me if they would fit in Reed Schoolhouse. I said, yeah, they would. Problem being, Reed Schoolhouse has no heat. So we're back to the same problem. We would be putting paper in a building that does not have the proper climate control. So I didn't think about that at the time, but I've thought about it afterwards. I said the paper items, I mean, if we cut down that railroad sign, I talk about, yeah, that could go in there, that wouldn't matter. But to me, the school should stay a replica of a one-room school. in my opinion. No, if anybody has any objection to that.
I agree. It should.
So she did say we should determine what year we would want the school to represent. I don't know what the schools were like in 1831 when it was built, but it was closed in the 50s. So we could, and from what I understand, as far as everything in that school belongs to the Historical Society.
Right.
So if they take things out, where are they going to go with it? And now we're going to have an empty school. That we can't do our work and whatever, like she's saying in this last. So we're going to have an empty shell of a school.
It can only be open so many months out of the year.
Yeah, no, it's not, but it's not the proper climate
No, it isn't.
control for paper.
It isn't.
It's not. So we can be stewards of it. I don't have, if anybody wants to speak on that. The thing is, we could be stewards of it and let the society use it. Leave it as it is. I personally, I don't have a problem with that. Now, this comment about being open once per year, it should be open during the year. And the once per year is the Smithsonian Day, which is in September, which just went by. So that's not a difficult requirement to fill, but it should be open at different times through the summer, which is another, we don't need to decide that right this minute. But
Did Ben or Ann mention a timeline for when they wanted us to do these things?
no,
Like,
not that. They
so
want to
they
know
have-
if we want to be stewards, and that's what I
Oh,
want to
okay.
discuss tonight.
Okay. I guess I was assuming that we already were the stewards because it said that the
We
commission was
aren't.
the steward. Okay,
We
got
aren't
it.
as of yet, because the society has been the steward, not us.
Hmm.
And I did explain to them that the reason that particular school is in good shape is because of the Historical Society, because if you look at the other town-owned historic properties that are falling down, that's the only reason why Reed School isn't falling down, because somebody else was keeping it going. True, the age of the membership stopped them over the last few years. And the commission did get that last grant, so really it doesn't need any work at this stage of the game. But I can't see us taking over stewardship of it and kicking the society out.
No,
It
that
doesn't
doesn't seem right. I
Make
have to agree.
sense to me. That's only going to create an animosity. So, and the whole point for the society wanting a climate controlled room is the same thing for the paper and the fabric. I mean, we've been going through things at the Summit School and it's just a shame. The Summit Library, I'm sorry. The books have been gnawed on by bugs and the mice have been in the clothing and it's damp. It's not a good environment, never mind for the items. We can't be in there for any length of time. So that was the point of getting out of Summit Library. But I just don't see creating an issue between a commission and a society. We're supposed to try to work together, not make everybody mad at each other. So if you guys want to open this up for discussion, if you have anything to say.
Well, it just doesn't seem right. All those years that they have done good things and they've made it last. And I don't have any issue. It would make more sense to work together on it and try to help each other out, but just work with them, just not take it away from, I think it would send the wrong message. And I don't think it's a good idea.
Does the town want to take stewardship for the Summit Library?
Nobody has stewardship of this. That's another story.
Did you get the impression from the meeting that the town wants the commission to be the steward of the Reed School instead of the society?
Yes,
Why are they,
There was one-
why is there such a push for that?
there was one quick suggestion, because it's a town-owned property. There
Okay.
was one quick suggestion that the society could buy it.
I think we should work together with them.
Town most likely wants to alleviate themselves of responsibility at all for the building. That's
Well, it's
part of
still,
it, yeah.
if we take, if we're the stewards, it's
And the
it's a
town.
town, it's a
Yeah.
town
But
responsibility.
what you just said about having them,
Oh,
the
It
society
was
buy
just a
it.
quick mention.
Right.
It didn't really
Yeah.
seem like an oh yay moment. It just, it was mentioned. I'm
Yeah.
just putting that out there because it was mentioned. It's one of the reasons Sandy's here, because, you know, she was on the commission. Sandy's been on the commission. Now she's president of the Historical Society, and they were saying that Sandy had got, after the school was done with the state grant, at the time it was Caroline Wells, it was the planner. She said that the building, the shutters that were on it were not historically correct, so they were never put back on. So Sandy got a grant to have them painted and asked Kevin McGee, who's DPW, because that's what we thought we were supposed to do, and they were put back on. Also, too, they've got a grant for the plexiglass. There used to be plexiglass in the buildings, but it was just a
To protect
plexiglass.
the windows.
Yeah, and it was cracking.
I see.
So we were getting pricing on a new form of plexiglass that filters the sun rays. So it's not doing damage to whatever's in the school. And they have a grant to put that on, and she talked to Kevin about that, and they were moving forward with this grant. Now
I
we're
did talk
told,
to Kevin about the plexiglass.
well, you were going to, but the point you weren't just gonna go do it. The point is, now, that's not the way it's supposed to be done anymore. We're supposed to talk to the town manager and the council before we can do anything like that. So they've got this grant that's sitting there. She put a stop on the
We've got two
plexiglass.
grants.
So will you lose the grants if you don't, I mean,
What happened was Caroline Wells felt that the shutters weren't of that era. Shutters have been on windows for centuries. And people were complaining, where are the shutters? Where are the shutters? So when we got the first grant, we found a painter who scraped the shutters, painted them, and put them up.
And they're not new
And-
shutters, they're old shutters.
The old shutters, they weren't new, they were
Yeah.
old. He scraped them and everything, and everybody was happy. Now, I had no idea that we were gonna lose the school. I would have never done it. You know, if it's gonna go back to the town, let the town have it. Then I talked to Paul, we all talked to Paul about the plexiglass. And we were in the process of putting an order in, when I was told by Mrs. Dixon that I had no business doing that. So I put a stop to the plexiglass, and whatever happens with the school happens. I mean, I'm not happy that it's going to be taken away from us, if it's going to be taken away. And I don't even mind if the preservation takes the stewardship and lets us use the school for our meetings. What else can I say? It's up to them. It's not up to us.
Well, we can take the stewardship and then we make the decision. It's the
Right,
way I look at
exactly.
it. So if
But
we-
she wants it open to other people.
well, the point is that if we let the society use it, we can't deny it to anyone else.
Right.
But who else would want to use it?
I don't know, but do you want a bunch of people in there? Somebody would have to be there while,
It would have to
The
have
school-
rules established to
That's
how
right.
that would be done, that's all. I mean, but it's not a bad idea. I
No.
mean, you could have, you know, if a teacher wants to bring a class of students
right,
up to
exactly.
show
I'm
them
all
how
for
it
that.
was done 150 years ago and
Mhm.
how the schoolroom was, it would be a good educational
A
experience.
few weeks
So,
back, I
I
brought
think-
a scout troop in, remember? They were
Yep.
working
Yeah.
on their Eagle badge, so
Yep.
we
So-
went there for hours. There's not that
Yeah.
much to look at.
it's like any of these things, it would just, you have to have rules that
Right.
have to be followed so nothing gets damaged and, you know.
I mean, all of a sudden, everything is just getting so confusing all the way around.
Well, the whole procedure is changing, the whole process, which we're gonna talk about that next. Because one of the things that we came out of that meeting is that we have no rules. And we don't have any rules. Nobody, a lot of people don't have rules in town, which is, status quo. So they want us to do and that's what's the new business, the policies and procedures. They want us as a commission,
Yep.
because I was complaining, or using, not complaining, I suppose, I'm good at it. The Byron Reed building as my example, because it was the most recent, and
Can,
what was
For the-
lost,
for the
but there
re-
was no process in place that we could have gone in and salvaged.
Mm.
We have, and that's why I put Arkwright Bridge presentation off, because we have to work on that. We have to determine what we want our purpose to be in relation to any historic. Now, when it's private property, you can only make recommendations, 'cause you can't stop people. But Byron Reed ended up being a town property.
so before we go on to the new
Yeah.
business, can I make a motion to table the Reed Schoolhouse decision till next meeting? Because I don't know, I feel like,
I can't hear you, Erin.
so we're talking about the Reed Schoolhouse becoming the stewards of the commission, right? So before we move on to new business.
No, I was
I'll
just
make it-
mentioning
oh,
that
oh,
it's
okay.
coming up.
Oh,
We're
all
not
right.
off Reed
all right.
School yet. We're not off Reed School yet. I was just mentioning that that's part of the problems that came up. That, we've gone about business as we go along. We've been talking to Kevin. That's what we've been doing. We've been talking to Raina. Well, now you're not supposed to do that anymore. You're supposed to talk to them. So it's like we're always redirecting and starting over because things are changing. And more than likely, the next election, things are going to change again. I don't know. It's just, this is what it is now. And I would like to see us have our purpose in place, that it's in writing before there's a change, so that we're not starting over again, in the next election or whatever. Let's make a plan. This is what we do. This is what we expect the process to be in demolition of a historic property or something. So I don't know exactly what, but think about it. We can, work more on that as we go along, but it's like, it's following the rules. We need to set up our rules, which is also part of this email that came out yesterday, to provide residents of the I'm asking all staff, support and or chairperson or boards and commissions for a summary of what their board is expected to do. Below is what they receive from Human Services. This is what we need to do. So look at that and we will discuss that part further
Did
in the
we,
next meeting. What?
did we discuss anything like that when we made the change with the focus from the Historic District Commission to the Historic Preservation Commission?
No.
Did
And
nothing
I'll
like
tell you
that?
what, it was Caroline Wells that wrote that last ordinance.
Okay,
I did write that letter, that first letter went out, and I never wrote the second letter, because this is where we're at right now. So that ordinance that was in that letter was what Caroline Wells wrote, from asking me questions to what I thought the commission should be. But that's just the ordinance. I guess they want us to fine tune.
okay.
It-
So there wasn't something similar when it was the district, okay, commission?
No,
Okay,
it was ordinances.
because I was just wondering if you could use that as a
Yeah, no.
template for, no.
We
Yeah.
should finish the Reed Schoolhouse
Yeah,
because
but
you're
anyway,
off
yeah.
on to,
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
so Reed School, personally, I don't have a problem with stewardship and letting people use
You
it. and We
don't-
would have to,
if we're hearing you correctly, you don't have a problem with the commission taking stewardship of
No, I
the,
don't.
and working with them.
and working with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been
Right.
working together
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Norma and I.
and again, it's something
Yeah.
that
So-
we need to explore further.
Erin wanted to table it. Do you want to
Well,
table
again,
it,
I
or do
just-
you want to have more discussion, or what do you want to do?
So these 3 bullet points are are these roles set in stone? This is what they expect us to do?
This
Can
is
more
what
be
she's
added? Can
recommending.
things be changed? So like, are we agreeing to these 3 bullets or agreeing to be
No.
stewards and negotiate
We're agreeing to be
what the roles
stewards,
are?
because this is not inventory. It's not our stuff.
No, but that's what I mean. This is
a-
basically saying, if
Yeah.
we are gonna go through the society stuff or the stuff that's in there, decide what belongs to the society and what doesn't, and then go find the proper owners. I guess I want to make sure when we say, yes, we would be the stewards, that we're not necessarily agreeing to the dots underneath or the wording of the dots. You get what I mean? Like it's worded as if
Right.
it's
We don't
us who
approve
goes
that.
through the society stuff.
But nobody knows the original owners of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm just saying, this,
Yeah,
this first
I-
bullet is very, you could interpret it as kind of like, they're telling us that we are the ones that have to go make all these determinations, which we probably, if we say yes, we then ultimately, we are the ones that are gonna make the determination. But, you know what I mean? What are we agreeing to if we say we're stewards, these 3 bullets, or just that we're stewards and we'll negotiate what the role is?
And is that why you're asking to table it until next month? till we
Yeah,
can
yeah, I'm
discuss
just,
And find out more about it.
so I'm new to all this
No, I know,
town
I know.
legalese stuff, right? So if we
Oh, I
say
know.
yes, are we actually agreeing to these 3 bullets as our job now?
Not until we vote to become stewards, so.
But we
then-
can vote to become stewards, but I think we need to determine what we are
Right.
doing, not
Yeah.
specifically to this.
That, as far
Develop
as
a
I see,
plan for
is suggestion.
preservation. The school's been done.
Hmm.
It doesn't need preservation. It doesn't need repair
When
at
it
this
might
point
in
in
the
time.
future,
Yeah, well,
right?
down the road, yes.
Yeah,
But, and to have it open once a year is not a big deal. The inventory should be done by the Historical Society. It's not our stuff.
I think if we work with the Historical Society, I think that's the best way to
Yeah.
go.
and that is some of us.
And it's not just what's in the school.
Yeah.
It's what's in the Summit Library too.
Well, that's a separate
what I
issue.
was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No, I
all
mean,
that stuff is going to the annex.
yeah, I know, but if we want to make that school a one-room schoolhouse, we need to know what should be and what should not be, because there's things in there too that shouldn't be in there.
Like what?
There's some things there in that side room there. That bell, nobody knows what that bell is. Doesn't belong in the school. It's too big
Well, I
of a
know
bell.
one of the clocks, pendulum clocks, Bob Johnny donated to the school.
But if we need to determine this is what era we want the school to be. Now, if we do it the 50s of when it closed, there's things in that school that definitely could stay there. I don't know what
Yeah.
schools were like in
But
1831.
what I'm getting at is the only thing in that school
That you know of.
that I know of is
Yeah.
the
Is the
clock that
clock.
Bob Johnny donated, which she wants to
There's
stay
that big
there.
bell. Nobody knows where that big bell comes
Right,
from,
exactly.
but it doesn't belong in that school.
Well,
It's not a school bell.
I think there'll be further discussion on this.
Do you want to table it for a month?
Can we, yes, but can we, is it okay if I take a shot at being more general with what the roles would be? And I guess I would send it just to you
Yeah.
only in an email.
What we
Um,
can do in
So
the
that if
month.
I don't, just don't,
Have you
I don't know
guys
what the legalese
been
are.
in the school?
I've never been in, no.
All right, so it gives us time to go in the school, because nothing's changing today.
Mm.
If you want to go in the school and see what's there,
You should.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we've been in it, but see what's there.
It's locked, right? I can't just walk up and go in.
Oh, no, it's locked.
Oh, there's the rain, I hear it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think there's a lot of things to
Alright.
discuss, but definitely the knowledge of the Historical Society, and I've only just really learned about it, is amazing. And you might have people with all this knowledge too, and it's important that we might want to, because you're saying things that people don't know, or they don't. We might want to make sure we record some of this knowledge before
Right,
it's
I
too
mean,
late.
the only person alive now would be Ginny Susie.
Yep.
And I'm in contact with her all the time. She was the president for the last, I think, 15 years. She's more than upset about this. But I mean, I don't know.
One of the things that's there that I think they want taken out is that sign,
What the what?
the Lillian's Way sign. They want that out.
But I'm not telling that to Lillian.
No, but I'm telling you guys,
Yeah.
there's a
They
sign
want
there,
it.
Lillian
It
Thurston was the.
says Lillian's Way. It's a beautiful sign
Yeah.
that Mary Deary, she used to be the treasurer. She's now in a nursing home. And she had it made up. And there's a pathway okay, in front of the doorway with everybody's names on it.
Bricks,
That
you know, the bricks.
bought
Oh, yeah, the
bricks.
bricks.
The
of course,
bricks.
Yeah, so it's Lillian's Way,
Mm-hmm.
and they want it taken
Because
down.
that's not historically accurate to the school. But that's not, you know, that's down the road. I'm not gonna worry about that
That's
today.
enough.
Now, there again, if it stays a town property, then the town has to mow the grass. It's been
Town's
done.
been mowing the grass.
I know, but it used to
Yeah.
be a society, but.
And the town's gonna have to, what you should
Oh, yeah, we
do
can do
is
that.
the utility bills, get a hold of the utility companies.
Yeah.
And transfer
Yeah,
the
I forgot to
address
do that.
and name.
The electric and water bills are in the society's name. I'm gonna switch them over to the town.
And what they don't realize is the school is very cold come November.
Hmm.
There's just one baseboard heat. That's
It's
not
electric.
enough for anything,
And it's electric, yeah.
you know, so the school is locked up most of the year.
It's seasonal. It's a seasonal building. All right, so you want to table
Okay.
it?
So I make a motion to table the stewardship of the Reed Schoolhouse discussion until next meeting.
Okay.
I second.
I don't think you second tables.
No.
You just
Okay.
table it.
Yep, motion.
And it'll give us the month to go to the school for you guys that haven't seen it.
Mhm.
And
Have you seen it, Maureen?
she's been in it. I
Okay.
mean, it's a one-room school. It's not like the Breakers.
No, but it's good. I've always wanted to go in it,
It's simple.
and I've never had the opportunity.
And
So,
it's a good example of what education was
It's great.
like
sure.
a long time ago.
We should open it in November and have the kids sit in the seats and be like, imagine going to school, no heat.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
wonder
should be
if the
thankful you
Tuxford
haven't
Valley
got it.
has any pictures of from way back of Reed School.
Yeah.
They have pictures of a lot of schools.
So,
'Cause I sit
Yeah.
there and look at them while I'm waiting to do stuff over there, so.
Yeah.
it gives us a month to look at it and maybe form an opinion for everybody.
Yeah.
And then this was the new business.
Policies and procedures.
Yeah, well, that goes back to
That's-
this,
yeah.
and this
Yeah.
email that came out, the sample of what they want to know what each board and commission does. There's nothing really in writing for us. I'm not gonna worry about the others, we're just worrying about us. So if you want to look at that and maybe next month we'll.
So are these the three categories we have to fill out, mission, purpose, and duties? Or she says match this, or human resources, I assume.
Yeah, this is human
Said
resources.
to
They're
match
showing what
this,
they
so we have to answer these three
It has to be similar to this.
sections.
Our mission and our purpose, which we should have anyway, and what our duties are. And then I would like for that, the duties part. Is that the same as?
So then you also wrote policies and procedures, which I guess I would feel like would be
That's a
additional
separate
sections.
thing- Separate thing than this, yeah.
Okay.
We're more, I think what isn't in place is where do we fit into all the historic properties, especially town ones? Like the Maple Dale schools going up for bid, which it's not a big deal, but it's like we haven't even been considered in that. When Payne House had their roof done last year, they're a local district. They went for their permit. We were never considered in that, which technically we should have been. Not that we would have said, no, you can't replace your roof, but because it's in a local district, it had to come, it was supposed to come before the historic district or the historic commission. Well, it didn't, because nobody seems to know what we are. And within the town itself, they went and got a permit and they did their roof, which isn't huge, but the same thing with Byron Reed. There should have been a step there that we could have seen if there was anything of value there. There should have been a step there, a process. Then there isn't. Private properties, you can't, it's just not the same, but at least the town ones, shouldn't we be part of the process as a historic
And
commission?
that's what the Maple Dale School looked like 100 years ago.
It don't look like that now.
I know you see, that. That's what the Maple Dale School looks like.
Amazing.
It's falling down now.
So,
It sure is.
but it's just that we're not part of the process of these historic things, which that's what I think we need to put into writing, and then it goes before council, and the council has to approve it. But we have to put it in some sort of writing as to what we are and what we do. So we can think about that and start.
And what our goals are.
Yeah, goals and objectives and
Yeah,
3-year plans.
Yeah. So we'll do that next meeting. Everybody has time to think about it. And we'll do that next meeting. Now, this is all, this all happened within a week, so there hasn't been a lot of time to put any thought in it. And as far as Upright Bridge, that probably won't be until after the first of the year. Again, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, I don't think. So. Okay, anything else?
No, I got my work cut out for me.
Get that whip out.
Otherwise, Norma will fire me.
If you need any help with the dimensions or to do the measurements, just text me.
Okay,
Retired, loving every minute of it. but-
okay.
Okay.
So-
We'll see how the weather is tomorrow, because it's indeterminate right now how these showers are gonna be, so it's only gonna take 30 minutes to do it, but I will need a hand.
So I have a question. If I'm gonna start filling out the application, can I email Paul directly when I need
Yes.
something for it? Or do I have to go
No.
send it to you
No.
and like, how's
You
the-
can't ask all of us.
but I can send an email directly to you and say, hey, I need this
One-to-one.
piece for the
You can
application.
do
Yep.
one to
Okay.
one.
Making sure.
Don't just send it to all of us, because.
Do you have my email? No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because you are on the invite.
okay,
So let's just pull it up.
that's true. There
Yeah.
you go.
So, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that anybody wants to?
Just from what I've heard, I just feel badly about the Historical Society because I can imagine people are pretty upset. And I just hope we can work together to try to just,
I have no doubt we can. work
make
together.
it as good as possible. And it's just too bad it happened like that.
We have the same interests.
Yeah.
It's not, it's different, but it's not. The difference is a private organization. And there again, and I've talked about this before, they have a 501c3. We don't.
We don't, right, correct.
That's what everybody seems to be forgetting.
That's right.
If we're working together, we can use the 501c3 for things that we can't get. Like a Champlain grant. We can't apply for
Right,
Champlain
and
grants.
the
anymore.
grants are there. with children. It's really
Exactly. So, if we're gonna alienate somebody that can benefit financially, benefit the town, not us, the town financially, why are we gonna make enemies?
important. No, I think we should all work together. There's so much knowledge there too, and a lot of us.
Those people work very hard for a real long
yeah,
time.
they
It's
did.
just,
did.
everybody got
It's
old,
upsetting just to hear.
like we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody got old, and unfortunately,
And now it's us. getting
It's
old.
us and our time will come too.
it was
Yeah.
ignored for a few too many years where all this stuff all this wonderful stuff they had in there got damaged by mold and mildew and mice and bugs. It just got let go for probably 2 years too long,
A lot of the
cause
stuff
it,
is
yep.
destroyed.
It's too
We're gonna
bad.
see what we can save and what we can't. We
Yep.
can't.
Yeah.
Beaded work on some of the garments. I mean, the
beautiful.
fabric spraying, but the beaded work is still there. I mean,
You
it's
see
just-
where the mice just ate through.
they were nesting in the clothes
Mm. Yep.
because it remained untouched for so long and in a damp, moldy building.
The roof was leaking for a while and no one, town didn't do anything about it. And just, enough moisture.
And I tried to convince Mrs. Dixon that we couldn't use that building. She insisted there was nothing wrong.
She
with
said
that
it wasn't
building.
leaking.
There, I mean, there
She must have
there
had-
certainly is.
Oh, there's definitely.
That's why I
leaking.
did a report on it for
Yeah,
them.
he did a report on it. He
Yeah.
sent it.
I went up and photographed all the problems, I mean,
It needs major.
don't need
I
to
think that
revisit
should
that,
be-
but
I think that should be sent to Ben Marchant. Do you still have it?
of course I do. I save everything
It's
from the
right, he
commission.
wasn't
Anything
here,
I do,
was he?
it's in
What?
a,
No, he
a
wasn't here
file.
yet when we did that, right? He wasn't here when we did that.
No,
I
No,
think
That's
that's why.
why- I think you should.
I
send
did
it
a
to
little
him.
like PowerPoint thing with the pictures and description, that's all. Like I do when I have to do historic jobs that I design, so. anyway. That building just, again, it's been let go and it would cost, not that it couldn't be preserved, because it could, but it would take a ton of money.
Ton of
That's a fairly
money.
good sized structure. And there's just enough damage, and
not
it's on
worth
a
it.
crawl space. There's no septic system. They go to an old cesspool.
And it's
you're
way out in
talking-
Nowhere.
If you were to redo that building right, it would cost at least $300,000.
It was
By
a
the time you
Grange
did
before it was a
everything.
library. I mean, it's got a history.
Take stewardship of
It was
that.
it was
Yeah.
one of the Granges.
Yeah,
And
it's
just-
got a history,
You-
but
you-
it's like other things. that
Especially with
aren't
what
gonna
things
survive.
cost now. Shocking.
Okay,
Okay, so someone make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
A second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we'll revisit all this